Well, there we have it. Another great rally in the books. And I just have to say, we've been spoiled. We've been spoiled this past couple of weeks with a few great rallies. From the first video on this channel regarding Oliver Solberg's first win in Rally Estonia, to Kalle Rovanpera's redemption at home and getting his debut home win, we came into this week with a brand new rally with many unknowns heading into the weekend. Brand new roads, brand new landscapes, brand new challenges. We were expecting it to be fast, and we knew it'd be a bit tougher than the last couple of rallies. I'm not sure if anyone expected it to be this tough. The roads were rough, dirty, bumpy, so bumpy in fact that co-drivers couldn't hold on to their post notes at times, with many jumps, changes in elevation, undulation, and water splash and mule kick galore. It really put these cars through a battering and really forced the drivers to tackle the stages and challenge them to put in as much pace as possible without completely breaking the car. Heading into the event, we also had a tight four-way title fight from Elfyn, Kalle, Oit and Ogier, but also Thierry Neuville trying to hold on to as much mathematic possibility so that he could still fight to defend his championship. The rally would also go down to who was the most confident on the roads quickly enough and who wrote their post notes down best. Those first opening stages on each day were really important on how the rally was going to go, with a little bit of rain on Sunday to spice it up. This was really an attrition rally, and the one who kept his car intact the most, while also continuing to put in strong performances stage after stage, would be Sebastian Ogier. Rarely putting a foot wrong. You know, he was fighting in 7th on the first day, but after others' misfortune, he climbed up to 4th and fought his way back up to 2nd. Before Calle's misfortune promoted him into 1st, he really never put a foot wrong throughout the entire event, which is really good for his position. You know, obviously sticking into for the title fight. It was yet another victory. It was yet another victory for him this year, bringing up to 4 wins this year, the most out of any of the other drivers, while he was still on a part-time campaign. If he didn't miss out on those 3 rallies, he would clearly be in the lead by now, and not by a small margin. 4 victories, 2 second places, 1 third place. The man has not stood outside of the podium every rally he took part in. So really a great performance by the Frenchman, and looking forward to what he's got in store for this title fight for the next 4 rallies. Now I'm going to talk about Kalle and Adrian. Both of them stellar performances throughout the weekend, fighting in 1st and 2nd, really jostling with each other to come out on top throughout the entire week, until both of them had some really bad luck. Kalle had his rally ruining puncture on the 2nd day, and Adrian with his power failure heading into the last stage, forcing him to retire. You know, it was a tough sight to see considering their strong fight earlier on in the weekend. I still think they did really well. It clearly shows that Calle's win in Finland wasn't a fluke. His pace is real, and he's able to fight for more wins, which would be good for him. He's still in the fight for the championship, still P3. So really just like heading into Chile, we know he's in a good spot and is going to perform really well again. When it comes to Adrian, it's probably really tough to see his chance at a P2 go away, chance at a P1 go away even on the final stage. If anything was proven at this event, it was that he can definitely fight for those wins, fight for those podiums, and that we have a really strong future for him to look forward to. So nothing to really be ashamed of. The retirement was upsetting, obviously, but the pace is real as well there, and hopefully that first win comes soon, because we're all looking forward to it. Heading toward Elfyn Evans, you know, he had a very consistent weekend as a whole, putting in some relatively good times, but really benefiting the most from other people's misfortunes. I believe his biggest fight was with Oit, and he clearly came out on top, and, you know, did well enough to secure a P2, which is his best result since Kenya, and his first time on the podium since Spain. These are more of the weekends that he needs if he wants to be keeping on control of the championship, which he still is, but he still has Kalle, Ogier, and Tanak nibbing at his feet, you know, 20 points separating the 4. So hopefully for him, he can continue to build up on that pace and continue to bring those fights in the next 4 rallies, because it'd be really crucial for his championship campaign. You know, 3 world champions chasing you. It's not going to be an easy fight. Ogier especially, with his 4 wins to Elfyn's 2 and Calle's 2 this year. Hopefully we could see more of this from him later on in the championship. Neuville, however, seemed to struggle throughout the whole weekend, or at least early on in the weekend. Still managing to keep his car mostly intact and really being where he needed to be in the right moment to really capitalize on other people's misfortune. A P3 from him this weekend was pretty lucky, and theoretically he's still in the title fight. As long as that mathematical option is there, he's going to be looking to fight for it. But hopefully this little blip in confidence, that's especially at the start of the rally, was more due to the fact that it was a new rally and not anything to do with his confidence. Sammy was putting in a great performance early on in the weekend, running in P3 until he got his rally-ruining puncture, dropping him down to 8th. You know, it's really tough to see, but I had my hopes high for Sammy this weekend. A debut event means everyone's on the same page usually, and PRE really capitalized on that situation by coming out running, you know. It's really unfortunate to see that puncture come through, but as with Callie and Adrian, clearly the pace is real, and it's tough seeing this missed opportunity go away, but it's a lot better seeing this than his tentative start to the season of rally learning and stuff, which is obviously important, but we want to see him fight for the podium, for the wins, and clearly the pace is there to do that. So hopefully you can take the positives from this weekend. I certainly am. I want him to do that again and hopefully be in the fight for a bit longer. Then on to Taka. He was another one of those drivers that I was hoping to see have another good weekend, continuing the form from his second place in Finland, but realistically, the pace wasn't really there. He was putting in some decent results, but once he got into his accident in stage 7, it was pretty much done and dusted from there, and he couldn't really do anything from then on. So, pretty disappointing weekend. I like Taka quite a lot, so I was hoping to see him do pretty well, but that was just a bit hard to see. And then when we head down to the Ford crews, they just had a shocking weekend. Multiple incidences, you know, both of them having to retire on, I think, the first day. It was a pretty tough sight to look at. M Sport have had their problems this year, and this is just another rally to forget, really. Their best result this season has been a P5 from Gregor Monster in Kenya. Then we got a bunch of P7s, P8s, P9s. It's pretty rough to see them so far down the order. And I really don't know what to say about it, you know? Just another tough M Sport weekend. I'm not entirely sure what the root cause of the problem is, but hopefully they can get a good rally before the end of the season that really shows off their strengths for the two of them at least once. I'd like to see that, because I don't enjoy coming into doing these videos and really being stumped for words about what's going to go in for M Sport. But yeah, that was Rally Paraguay. A great rally weekend overall, with lots of changing conditions, tough moments, tough roads to tackle. It was really great seeing how each driver handled the roads. And in terms of the championship, we still have a fairly tight 4-way championship, 20 points between Oit and Evan. You know, there's really nothing between them heading to these last 4 events. And obviously another one of those is a debut event, the championship finale. So we've got a lot to look forward to. Hopefully we could keep the streak of exciting rallies heading into Chile, CER, Japan, and Saudi Arabia. But apart from that, thanks for sticking out to the end. If you like this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe. Check out my other channel as well. There'll be a new video on that channel soon. So keep an eye out for when that comes out. But until then, I'll see you next time.